What's up? It's your boy Reemus, and we're back with another episode on the news reports. Today, the news is that Canelo has vacated his 160-pound super version of the WBA middleweight title, and it's so interesting. We have to say super and regular, and all of this stuff is kind of annoying, but he's vacated the 160-pound title, meaning he's of course focusing on the 168-pound division, the super middleweight division. And to be fair, although he's left behind a lot of challenges, there are a few good challenges going forward. But who can we look for Canelo? No, first, who did Canelo leave behind, we could say? Well, surely now the Triple G fight is, out of the equation. Triple G, has stayed at middleweight practically his entire career, I believe. And I know that he wants to unify and become undisputed in that division. So I think he's most likely going to stay there. Some people do question and they say, well, why don't Triple G move up? Because all great fighters move up. If he's really that good, he should move up or down, to get big fights. Pretty much like what Canelo's doing, really. And to some extent, you could agree, but really it doesn't matter because he's probably going to stay in that division. So probably no Canelo or Canelo versus Triple G fight unless Triple G decides to move up. One other fight that could have taken place, which was less likely, I believe, but it was still talked about, was the Errol Spence fight. Errol Spence, really, you should be focusing on fighting Terence Crawford, right? But he knows that Canelo is a big fight, so he was mentioning that, but I don't believe that's going to take place at all now, of course. It's basically 3 divisions apart. Even though Errol Spence is a big guy, that's certainly not going to take place. And then we have Demetrius Andrade, who holds the WBO title, who was he's a good, awkward fighter. He's left behind by Canelo. He had the WBO version, and the Charlo brother, who holds the WBC title, that's no longer coming about. However, we can look forward to a potential fight with Billy Joe Saunders, for example, and we know that he's a good boxer. He is light on his feet, and I think he has a purist type style that would contrast well with Canelo's. I think if anyone's got a chance to really give Canelo trouble, I think it could be Billy Joe Saunders if he has a really great night. If he has a kind of off night, it's not happening. But that's the fight I would love to see in 2021. But we also have Caleb Plant. He was offered the fight apparently twice. And this is, I believe, according to his words on the Purist podcast. He said that he was offered the fight, but it was at too short notice, so he had to let it go. But that's a good fight because he has good boxing skills that, of course, you're going to need with a guy like Canelo, an appreciation of technical skills. I don't think someone like David Benavidez could really trouble Canelo because Canelo just has more boxing skill. So that's where my focus is when we're thinking about the opposition who could trouble Canelo. I saw one report, I think on Boxing News 24/7, saying that Edgar Berlanga could could beat Canelo, and I just think that's a joke because he's barely made it out of the second round. So how can you say that? But that's the rising prospect who is a big power puncher. But I don't think he has enough experience to even be mentioned in a conversation with Canelo just yet. Maybe 2 years down the line, even more than that potentially. But now that Canelo's left the WBA title behind, we can expect perhaps Chris Eubank to fight Murata for it, who holds the regular version of the WBA. And all of this stuff is so confusing, right? But I also saw a report, I think, on Bad Left Hook, suggesting that maybe we could see Sergio Martinez, who is ranked number 5 in the WBA. He could fight Chris Eubank. So that's a fight that could come about. But my main focus and what I'd love to see in 2021 is Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. But the question is, who do you think could beat Canelo? Who do you think has the best chance? And who would you just like to see fight him? So comment down below and let Reemus know. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.